One apple, action.
Alright, so guys, we're going to do a quick tutorial on a very basic isometric sketch, okay? The way that we're going to be doing this one is by using a construction box, okay? So generally what we want to start with, and on these kind where you have a limited space on your isometric paper, you want to start by building your construction box from the top and giving yourself plenty of room. So on this one, if we start it right here, that's going to be near the top, and so we're going to be able to fit our entire object on there. Okay? So first, what I want to do is I want to count our depth. So it's 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. And I'll put a dot right there. Then I'm going to do our height. Okay? So again, our overall height is going to be 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we want to get our overall width, okay? And I want to be careful that I count the entire width, not just the part that's touching this front edge. So if I were to count 5, that's not quite all the way, so I need to count this space right here for number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we can see, since I started up here, I have enough room for the dot down here so that the entire box will fit on there. Okay, so now I just want to finish creating the rest of my construction box. So it's 1, 2, 3 for my depth here, then 1, 2, 3 for the height here, and then I need to get this other corner that goes in right here. So from there, I want to use construction lines, which you guys are going to draw very light pencil lines. I'm going to use this dotted line so that you can kind of see the difference. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm creating basically either a glass box, is the example that they use, or the UPS box that your object can fit in. Okay, so this would be the outside. Now the next step I want to do is I want to fill in these surfaces that are touching the edge of the box. So I'm going to start with this top one. Let's do that in yellow. So I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to do that by counting from the top edge. I'm going 1, 2, 3, placing a construction dot there, and then 1, 2, 3. So that's my next one. Okay, and I can go ahead. You can either fill in all your construction lines first, or you can go one at a time. So for example, I can do either my construction line there, and then if I want to keep myself from getting confused, I can go ahead and do my object lines for that top part. Or if once you get comfortable, you can go ahead and do your construction lines for all of the surface parts. So next we're going to do this front surface right here. Okay, so I can see now that it's going to go from my spot that I already have here, it's going to go down 2, then 1, 2. Okay, and then it's not going to go all the way to the edge of the front corner of the box. So from that dot that I have here, I'm going to count 1, 2 in the width. So 1, 2. Add my dot down there, and that should give me the front edge now. So I can go ahead and use my construction lines to fill that in. So right there, and then down. Okay? We'll switch to our object lines so that I don't confuse it with my other construction lines, and I can go ahead and fill in the outside edges of the box that were previously construction lines. Okay, and now I've just got this front surface left, so we're going to do that one next. Okay, so I'm going to count from the back right corner. And I know that the depth is only 1 for this one, so I'm going to put a dot right there. And then the height is going to be 2, so I'm going to go right there. And again, quickly, we're going to use our construction lines. And then go ahead and fill them in with object lines. Okay, now we get to the part that's a little bit tricky, because now we've just got to kind of use our spatial relations to get the other inner parts drawn in. Okay, now on this one it's not too bad, but once we get to some more complicated shapes, it will start to get a little bit more difficult. So on here, I'm going to start from this guy right here and just count 2 back in my depth. So I'm going to go 1, 2. There's my construction line right there. All right, and then from there I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to put a dot right here. Okay? And from there, it goes downward. So we're going to go down one right there, and then that's going to fill in all these inner parts. So before I get lost with which dots I'm doing, I'm going to fill in my construction line. So I've got one there, down to there, over to here, and then I want to get this surface as well. Okay? And so then really all I have left is this section right here. Whoops. Is this section right here. So I'm just going to count up one dot from there and then back one dot. So I'll go up here and over here. I can fill in my construction lines, and we'll actually go before we do those and do object lines for our previous part, just to avoid confusion again. Okay, and now we've got, all we have left is this section right here. Okay, and it travels all the way up to the front. Okay, so then once we fill that in with object lines, we'll have a nice replica of the object. Okay, so then our last part is to just shade it in. So you're going to pick one side. You want your source of light, we're going to have it be, oh, I left one line out. We need to go back to our object line right here. Fill that one in. Okay, so then we're going to go and we're going to shade it in. And I'm going to pick my light source to be hitting it from the top, kind of like in our example over here on the left side. And we're going to do a light shade on the side right here and a darker shade over on this side. So we'll pick light shade and fill in right here. When you guys are doing this, you can just use, you can fill it in with pencil and then use your finger to kind of smooth it out so it appears more natural shading. Okay, and now we're going to take our front face and we're going to fill that one in with a little bit darker shading. Okay, and that is an example of how to do an isometric sketch.